Hello everybody, my name is Rolo and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. So if that's your cup of tea, please do like and subscribe, and let's get into today's first story. Today's first story comes from Tim Boner with the title, I, 29 male, broke my wife, 28 female's heart. How do I save my marriage? There is a trigger warning of emotional infidelity on this story, so if that's uncomfortable for you, please do skip, and I'll see you in the next story. My wife and I have been married for 4 years, and together for 6. I love her deeply. However, recently I have developed an infatuation for a woman I work with. I did not cheat and have a strictly work relationship with her. I recognized my feelings as a mere crush, but still felt guilty. I needed to talk about it. About 2 months ago, I posted on a forum, not Reddit, about this woman and found sympathy. It helped me understand how crushes in a LTR work. LTR meaning long-term relationship. A month ago, I came home to my wife having printed my post. She confronted me, and as I was taken by surprise, I didn't really know how to explain myself. I couldn't lie either, so I just apologized to her. She read me my post while crying. I cannot post it entirely here, but basically, I said she was a breath of fresh air, the reason I'm happy to go to work. I wish I could hold her in my arms and know how she smells. I often dream of her. Sometimes I lie down and imagine her in front of me. These were things I was thinking but couldn't say out loud. They were things that could have been written in a diary. They were private thoughts, and I never imagined my wife would read them. In the end, it is just a fantasy. Every day since that day, my wife has barely spoken to me. She refuses to discuss it and won't look at me in the eye. The rare times that she does address me. She's moved into our guest room. She told me that she was getting ready to divorce and would file when she has enough money, and that I shouldn't hope, and that I am free to pursue that woman. I understand why she is hurt, but it is just an infatuation. It is not comparable to the love and history I have for her. How can I get it through to her? She told me she never had feelings for another man and that I betrayed her. She won't stay married to a man who yearns for another woman. I told her I would change jobs, but she just said I'll still dream of her. She is completely closed off. What can I do? I apologize for errors. I am stressed and not a native English speaker. TLDR, my wife wants a divorce after reading a post about how I have an infatuation for another woman. I love her and don't want a divorce. Now, I know that he said that he didn't cheat, but as we all know, this is emotionally cheating at the very minimum. I'm sure that as this woman was getting his attention, his praise, all of his good side to this woman, he was neglecting his wife at home in exchange to do that for her, and I can't imagine how the wife was feeling during that time, or how she must have felt when she found that post. Reading those words is really horrendous. It sounds not like he's just infatuated or his relationship with his wife is more than this woman. It sounds like he loves this woman. He wants to be with that woman, and realistically the only thing holding him back would be his wife, and she's saying go for it. And now he's trying to backpedal and say, no, I don't like her like that. Don't leave me. But honestly, personally, I don't think I could come back from this with my partner if they did this to me. Yeah. What a shame for Opie's wife. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's get to some comments. Croatan Chick says, so have you gotten a new job yet? What have you done to show your wife that you're serious about your marriage and that she's the only one who matters to you? To which OP says, she won't let me talk to her or touch her. Sometimes she will leave the room when I come in. She's like a wall. I tried buying her favorite flowers and wrote a card, but she didn't take them. I'm invisible to her. I was looking for jobs when I informed her I would change jobs to avoid the woman, but she told me not to bother as she was leaving. In this economy, I cannot easily risk being unemployed, especially if I'll end up divorced. Pancakes Waffle Toast says, there's an innocent crush, and then there's wanting something to happen between the two of you. Your wife knows this. Everybody knows this, and you should know this. You wanted to hold your coworker in your arms, etc., etc. It's not the fact that you have a crush on someone. It happens naturally and is human nature. It's the fact that you have a crush and wanted things to happen between you two, and that's what broke your wife's heart. Also, in the first place, if you wanted to keep your thoughts private, you shouldn't have posted it on the internet. So, from those comments, we also found out that OP was doing some love bombing to try and win his wife back after everything that happened with buying her favorite flowers, the card, and whatever else he probably did to try to fix the relationship. It's not a very good look, but let's jump into the update, which came 5 months later. I had forgotten about this post and I'm back to update, so maybe seeing my stupidity could prevent someone else from making the same mistakes. I cringe when I read today what I wrote months ago, and it seems ridiculous to me that I could have felt this way about another woman. I wrote that I would imagine my former coworker while lying in bed, but in the end, my wife stopped acknowledging my existence. Waking up without seeing her face was just absolute torture. I really took all I had for granted until I almost lost it. So I took some of the advice and decided to court my wife again, the hardest I could. Of course, the first step was looking for another job, and it took me a month, but I managed to find a similar position in another enterprise. I did what was suggested of taking over every chore, and she stopped ignoring me, but would simply stare at me with some kind of hostility and go on with her life. I tried flowers, but she would leave them to die. My wife's dominant love language is physical, but I wouldn't dare try touching her, so I went for telling her. I somehow realized it was really the content of what I wrote about the other woman, which obviously, when you're deep in a crush, is amplified, that really hurt her. I tried engaging in conversations so we could talk about what was happening to us, but more importantly, what I did to her, but she remained closed off. And so I started writing letters and would leave them under her pillow. At first, I apologized for everything, for writing the post, for not putting an end to the crush faster, for making her feel like another woman could hold a higher place of importance to me, and for not taking the initiative to change jobs earlier. For making her life hard by creating this situation, which ended in her sleeping in the guest room of her own house, for making her cry and causing stress to her. Then I wrote her love letters, telling her how much I loved her, how the crush couldn't compare to the deep love I have for her. I was chewed for saying I loved her because of our history in the last post, but I was misunderstood. I meant that the love I have for her has gotten stronger with time. 5 years ago, I loved her, but wouldn't have given her one of my organs if she needed, for example, while now I would without hesitation. Our history is what caused the attachment to grow stronger, therefore no random crush could override that. I was awed in front of my crush and wrote sappy things about her, but in the end, I do not know this woman on a personal level, while I have seen the worst of my wife, and the love remains. I told her how beautiful she was, and how impressed and proud I was with her development as a person since we had met, how grateful I was for her presence in my life, and every single thing I was thankful for that she did and enhanced my life. How much I needed her and missed hearing her tell me how her day went, laughing at my bad jokes, and basically just missed hearing the sound of her voice. This is a small sample, but it must have taken a good 3 weeks of daily letters until she answered me back. She answered with a letter of her own, telling me how much I have hurt her with my crush, how I made her feel invisible next to that woman, how I never told her such loving words until the letters, how much she hated me, but also how she loved me and missed me too. Her letter allowed me to feel her vulnerability. After reading it, I cried and went to see her. We locked eyes. She cried and we held each other for a long time. She started talking to me again then and softened. Honestly, the possibility of the marriage ending just like that scared the both of us. As of today, we are, to my surprise, mostly back to normal, and actually, I feel closer to her. We continue with the letters, which have helped increasing our emotional intimacy. I make an effort to tell and show her my love. I am very grateful that she has given me a second chance, and even more so that she has decided to put the crush behind us. We have had maybe 2 fights since, but she hasn't brought it up and doesn't punish me. It really wasn't the crush in and of itself, but how I went about it and the lack of affection from my part in comparison. Maybe I'm being optimistic here, but I truly think we are going to get through this. We'll be going to couple counselling after our vacation just to make sure things are really settled between us. TLDR, I managed to get my wife back after working on the way I conveyed love to her, and we are doing alright. I'm not gonna lie, I was so ready to scream, he's still love bombing, when he said that he was writing letters to try and get back to her, to try and court her again. But he did it for 3 weeks and they are continuing to do it now. So I feel like we can't really call that love bombing anymore. It's more like they found a communication style that works for them, which is good for them, and I do hope that the relationship continues to improve and OP doesn't fault like he did again, because I doubt that he will be able to move past it with his wife this time. He's extremely lucky that she even forgave him once. Okay, now let's read some comments. Toothless20 says, "It's nice how hard you're trying. The thing you need to continue to work on is not stopping this once you've got her completely back. For me, I would never get over what you said. I would have filed for divorce immediately. I'm glad things are working out for you though." OP replies saying, "Thank you. I do not plan on stopping. I realized I wasn't putting enough work into my marriage before." To which Terrible Dragon for Hire says, "Yeah, buddy, save the letters. And when you have a fight, or you forget how much you love her, you break that shit out and you remind yourself." I like that one. The Ineffable One says, "I would kill or die to see my late wife again for even 1 second. Treasure her and don't fuck up again." My Anaconda Don't quotes a section saying, "How I never told her such loving words until the letters." Yeah, that line was telling. I understand now why it broke her heart. The Final Filter says, "There is a difference between a work crush and fantasizing about a coworker. Then to post it online?" I can definitely see why OP's wife was upset. I know I would be. Honestly, I have thought along the lines of, I hope your partner doesn't find this post, a few times while reading here on Reddit. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that story. So please do comment down below your thoughts and opinions, and let's move on to the next story. Our next story comes from the user Pinky Binders with the title, "Am I the asshole for locking up my valuables in my house? I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 23 male, have been living together for 2 years. There has always been a bit of a money struggle, as I used to make more than him and have usually been picking up the slack in our household. However, I have started a new job and am earning a lot less than before, so I started to be more cautious about the amount I am spending. During our relationship, I would usually buy all of his toiletries and most household products. I told him I would not be doing this anymore as I need to cut down my own spending, and he also works and is capable of buying things on his own. I thought we had agreed to this, but as time has gone on, I've noticed that all of my expensive skincare and even my own deodorant being used up really quickly. I asked him multiple times to please not use my stuff and even bought him his own skincare so that he could have his own things. The thing that set me off was that I had bought myself a $220 face wash that is only supposed to be used sparingly. I have horrible eczema that I have prescriptions for, and the products I buy are specifically for my eczema. I hadn't used it in a while, and when I picked up the bottle, it was empty. He laughed and said he would replace it, and then refused when he learned of the price. I took inventory of everything else I owned and found out he had used up to $800 worth of product in around 3 months. I know he isn't naive because I tell him the price of everything I get, and I tell him not to use them. I ended up buying a safe that I put under the sink, and I put everything I had left inside and hid the key, so when I go to shower and get ready, I can use my own things and not worry about not affording to keep my skin in check. When he found out, he lost it and said that I was overreacting and that I don't trust him. It's turned into a massive deal, and my friends think I'm being harsh. I simply cannot afford to keep buying more skincare, and I've been hospitalized this year due to a huge flare-up I had after running out of products. He's taking it very seriously, and I don't know what else to do as I've already tried asking. Am I the asshole? Absolutely 100 billion% not the asshole at all. At first I was like, $220 for just some skincare? And then you explained it's for your eczema. And personally, my mum, she had extremely bad eczema, to the point she would wake up and her sheets would be covered in just blood everywhere because she'd scratched herself so much in her sleep. She had to wrap her hands and she'd get the wraps off in her sleep. There was just no helping it at all, and we were in a pretty bad situation growing up, but she would use any of her spare money to buy the creams that her doctor recommended that were not available through the NHS, just to try and help her with this eczema. And I'm pretty sure anybody who has eczema will know of Aveeno, the oat body wash and body lotion was the main thing that helped her, but that was not covered under the NHS, so she had to go out and buy that herself, and that can get really expensive. Eczema is really debilitating, and you don't know what it's like unless you have a family member with it and see how much they struggle, or you yourself have it. And I feel like even now, I don't know the extent of the struggle or the pain that my mum went through, but I can only guess it's like having a constant mosquito bite everywhere, all over your skin. Absolutely not the asshole. You've asked him to stop. He didn't. Break up. I'm going to be the typical Redditor here. Break up. He's an ass. He doesn't respect you, and he doesn't care about your health. So maybe I was a bit passionate, but let's see what the comments think. Yes, no, maybe 1, 2, 3 says, not the asshole. This is a person who is not at the same level of maturity you are. He does not respect you nor your things. Is this how you want to be doing things in a relationship? Hiding them? Opie responds, I agree that I don't want to be hiding things, but I also think that skincare is not as bad as stealing money or sentimental items, so I don't think he's a bad boyfriend. I just wish he would listen to me. Jam0970 responds to that saying, It is as bad as that. He stole $800 from you. To which OP says, okay, yeah, you kind of have a point. Now, just to backtrack a little bit to OP's response to yes, no, maybe. Saying that he's not a bad boyfriend, but you just wish he'd listened to me. A bad boyfriend is a boyfriend who doesn't listen and respect your opinion, so you're kind of just making a redundant statement at that point. If he doesn't listen to you, he's a bad boyfriend. Vanda Joy says, I mean, not the asshole, but if you're at the buy a safe because I can't trust him not to use my stuff stage, just break up. Mocha Unicorn 369 responds to that saying, came here to say the same. It's amazing how things can gradually go to shit in a relationship, and it happens so slow. People don't realize how fucked up things have actually become. C-Baseball says, not the asshole. Why do people stay with people like this? You are locking up your stuff in a safe so he doesn't steal it, and he's getting mad at you for it. Do you see how ridiculous that is? He has absolutely no respect for you. OP comes in with an edit. Wow, I didn't think I would receive this many comments so quickly. Thank you guys for validating me, as I was feeling really crap before I posted this. I definitely need to think over some things and have a chat with him. He's actually a really good guy apart from this, but it's worrying if this sort of behaviour continues. Think I'm going to consider getting my own place for now. OP comes in with an update the next day. Update. Wow, I didn't think I was going to get so much of a response. Thank you guys for shattering my rose-tinted glasses. I had a talk with one of my friends who said they had no idea that he was taking more than $10 worth of products, which explains why they all thought I was being harsh. Unfortunately, we share a friend group, so breaking up was looking really hard. Until I sat him down for a talk to try to convey why I don't trust him anymore and how important my skincare is. The conversation went on for some time, and I actually thought he may be turning a new leaf until he told me that in our first year of being together as a couple, when I had a few flare-ups before finding some good products that worked for me, he had been taking my oral steroids that I was prescribed with, thinking they would make him buff at the gym. The whole year I battled through with insecurities and unbearable pain because I wasn't able to overcome my flare-ups. Honestly, that was the thing that snapped me completely. I'm staying at my friend's house for a week and letting him pack his things and figure out a place to go. Thanks again to everyone who was so kind and helped me realize how stupid I was being. I'm sorry, this guy was 100% willing to put you in pain, take your medication, your oral steroids, because he thought it would benefit him. He is such a selfish, ignorant, dumb asshole. I can't believe that you managed to put up with him for so long. Jeez. I'm so glad that OP decided that it wasn't worth it and broke up, because imagine what else would have happened down the line. This is just a small glance into OP's life. I can't imagine what else she was putting up with that she didn't tell us about here. Because with this type of person, it's never just one thing. It's never just that he uses the product. Yeah, good for OP. I hope that they eventually find someone who respects them and doesn't do this crap to them. Not the asshole OP. So after those kind of emotionally draining relationship stories, I thought maybe we could end on something a little bit more wholesome. This story comes from Pink Kim from the Wholesome subreddit, titled, "The world felt heavy today, and then I saw this. Was feeling a bit drained, but a kid on my street was walking a tiny stuffed dinosaur on a string like it was a real pet, telling it about her day. 10 out of 10, emotional support dino. The little things really do make the days lighter. Hope your corner of the world had a small, silly joy too." Oh, to be a child again, dragging around my little stuffed puppy and telling it all about my day, chewing its nose, just no problems, crying because I'm tired. Bring me back to the easy times. Did any of you guys have an emotional support teddy, or do you have an emotional support teddy, toy, or anything like that? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!